Why I'm not going to pay extra on my mortgage in order to pay it down earlier. I was hogging the video here. I did a video yesterday where I was kind of running the numbers on mortgagecalculator.org, which I love their calculator. And I just, initially I came to the conclusion, actually, and I do come to the conclusion that paying off your mortgage as opposed to investing it is the better way to go. We ran three different scenarios. We had 3.5% rate of return, which is essentially the rate of your mortgage interest. We had 5% rate of return, and then we had an 8% rate of return. And the 3.5%, inherently, that was is basically you're breaking even. For the most part, you're still netting about $10,000. So the premise was, if you made an extra $500 a month mortgage payment versus if you invest that $500 a month into a side account, so to speak, and you got 3.5%. When the time came up where if you put the extra $500 a month into your mortgage, you'd have it paid off in, I think it was June of 2037. So you would have a mortgage paid off in June of 2037. How much did you have if you put a side account instead? So you had a side account as opposed to paying off. You had basically $160,000 in a side account at 3.5%, and you still had a mortgage payoff at $147,000. So when all was said and done, if you did a side account at 3.5%, you'd have $160,000 left in June of 2037, which you could use to pay off the mortgage. Plus you'd have $10,000 left over. Does that make sense? Conversely, if you just use that extra $500 a month, you'd have a mortgage paid off in 2037, but you would not have the extra $10,000. So that didn't seem very worthwhile to me, because that assumes many things, that in 2037 the market has a tank, that we don't know what the capital gain rates are going to be. That's a lot going in there. Never mind the taxes you have to pay as you're accumulating that asset. Then I did a 5%, I think it was a 5% rate of return, and I think thereafter capital gains, taxes, you ended up with like an extra $10,000 or $12,000. I can't remember exactly, maybe $20,000. That's something I can't remember. But again, that wasn't enough to take the risk, because maybe it was $40,000 after taxes. I was whatever it was. I can't remember, but in my opinion, it wasn't enough risk reward to take the risk that if you retired in 2009 under the auspices that you're going to use a side account in order to pay off that mortgage, that the market didn't tank. And if you're only going to buy treasury bonds to guarantee that you don't get killed in a down market, well, you might as well just use that money to pay off the mortgage anyway. It doesn't make sense. Which is why I did a couple weeks ago, I did a video series, maybe it was a week ago, on don't own bonds if you have a mortgage, because essentially you're paying a bond, well, you're paying a highly rated corporate bond interest rate to the bank, but you're only going to get back a government bond. That's not a good trade-off, so don't do that. All right, and then so it wasn't worth the risk. But then I was thinking this morning, I was taking this guy for a walk. I said, but. Here's the problem. When you have all this equity in your home and you're going to downsize because you want to move, like we always talk about maybe moving back to Texas, maybe moving to Tennessee where the property taxes are lower and there's no state income tax, maybe moving back to Virginia. Basically that's kind of our 3 points, maybe Huntsville, Alabama. I don't think, whatever. My wife loves Texas. I like Tennessee. I like Georgia. But we both kind of like Virginia, so it might be the go-to. What's up, Doc? Come here. All right, but now, so check this out. Let's just say you're going to downsize, and you're going to downsize with a mortgage or even without a mortgage. All right, what's the one thing you have to do to get money out of your house in order to which downsize? Well, you got to sell the thing. All right, you're not going to take a reverse mortgage would be stupid. Hold on just a second. I'll make sure come on up, buddy. You could take a reverse mortgage, but that'd be dumb because you're going to turn around and sell the house anyway. So you're going to pay all those fees for a reverse mortgage. You're not going to take a home equity line, and that defeats the whole purpose. So the only way to get equity out of your home in which to pay for a home in which to downsize is to sell the house. And if you have a mortgage on it, it makes you have to be that much more precise on how to sell the house, because you don't want to be upside down. You still got to pay off the mortgage and all that. The bank's got to get rid of your lien, all right, in order for you to transfer the ownership rights to a new buyer. I mean, there's so many things that are involved here. All right, so essentially at the end of the day, for you to downsize to Tyler, Texas, for instance, You're going to buy a $350,000 home in Tyler, Texas. I'm just literally using that for an example. You're going to sell a $500,000 home. Well, for you to buy that $350,000 home, I hope you can qualify for a mortgage in which to essentially carry both debts, because you have a contingency that says, look, until I sell this house, I still have to carry the debt, which means I still have my $1,300 a month mortgage on this house I'm in now. Can I afford a $1,300 mortgage here plus another $1,000 mortgage in Tyler, Texas, or even a $1,500 when I'm just having no more income because I'm retiring? I'm just going Social Security and a pension. Probably not. So let's just say you're able to save that money as opposed to paying off your mortgage, and now you have the side account. Well, you just pay cash money. You don't need the bankers to determine your ability to borrow. You just say, no, I'm going to pay cash money for this house in Tyler, and in the interim, we're going to list our house. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Now, one guy or a couple guys posted on the channel on my video yesterday, which I completely agree with. They said, if you're not going to move, then pay off and absolutely contribute to paying off your mortgage more. So take the extra $500 a month and put it down to your mortgage if you're not going to move. But if you are going to move, I would suggest that it's going to be more feasible for you from a liquidity perspective, because remember, liquidity is always king. From a liquidity perspective is to put that money in a side account, so that way you have access to it when it comes time to buy your house that you're going to retire into. Now, the issue here, of course, comes in, what if you don't have enough? What if you don't have enough? What if you're buying a $350,000 house, but you only have $200,000? I'm literally just using that for an example. All right, well, still you have a pretty significant risk, not very risk factor. The reason I say it is because you got a $350,000 house of which $200,000 is equity, right? So that's a $150,000 debt you're going to take in which to buy the $350,000 house. You have more equity than debt in there. That's not a risky proposition in the bank. So $150,000 would probably cost you $750 in a 30-year mortgage. That's not a significant risk to the bank at all. $750 a month on top of the $1,300 you're paying your current home until you sell it, plus the fact that you have more equity than what the bank loans you. The bank would give you that 2 seconds flat, simply because they know there's really no risk. They can always put you're not going to walk away from the home and all the equity you built up in there, which is more than what the bank has, in which to leave the bank with all this equity. You're not going to do that. So the bank would give you that no problem. So hope this makes sense. That's why I'm not putting more into my mortgage. I'm investing instead, regardless of what the markets do. Actually, I do think I'll get more than the market, than the 3.5 or 3.25. I think I'm paying 3.25. I'm getting on my interest rate right now. I highly think I'll get more than that. So for me, it is an arbitrage. I'm borrowing 3.5 or 3.25 to invest as leverage. I mean, I talk about leverage, how risky it is to leverage to get hopefully 6, 7, 8% a year for sure. No, recognizing there's significant up and down risk. But by the time Liam's out of home 7 years, 8 years from now, we'll sell this and hopefully we'll have enough money set aside where we don't need hopefully we'll have enough in the side account in which we could just pay cash money forever we end up moving. If not, hopefully we'll have enough that we'll have we will have enough loan to value or equity to debt, if that makes sense. So hopefully it'll be more than 50% equity to debt, i.e. if we buy a $300,000 home, hopefully we're able to put $200,000 into it and only have a $100,000 debt. For that, that's a risk a bank will take, 99 times out of 100. Hope this helps. Like to hear your comments on that. All right, we'll see you.